The Lord is risen. Hallelujah, hallelujah. My dear people, as I told you in the beginning of the Mass, today is the center of our faith. Today, what we believe is rooted to this very day of the resurrection. I'd like to touch very simply the first reading, and then we go in the Gospel with the lesson that we have from the second reading. In the first reading today, we encounter St. Peter on the day of Pentecost. Many of you say Pentecost, we just celebrate Easter. Easter has no meaning without Pentecost. No? Because Pentecost is the fulfillment of Easter. The promise of Jesus at the cenacle come to pass on the day of Pentecost. And so Pentecost is the day when they were filled with the Holy Spirit and went out and preached the mystery of Easter. And he said to them, to those Jews who are there from all of the surrounding, they have come here to offer to God their thanksgiving for the harvest. The harvest is in October or November. In Europe is right now, April, May. And they come to give 1/10 of their income that they make to the Lord. And while they're all in Jerusalem, we see that Peter came out and spoke to them these words. The Christ that you put to the cross is the Christ we preach, he is alive. In him alone there is salvation. The Christ that you crucify is the Christ that we believe by his resurrection, he is the Son of God. And we know that that proclamation is still the proclamation of the church today, even to 2,000 plus years. Because that is the day the Lord has made for us. This is the day the Lord has made. And because of that we rejoice and be glad. In the Gospel today, I am very much, as we say, in love with Mary Magdalene. Not because I was the first pastor there, that was my first church, but because I see in her a great witness. Many of you say, why did Jesus appear to the apostles first? The apostles abandoned him. The apostles reject him and denounce him. The apostles were not with him when they crucified him. But Mary of Magdala, the woman that he destroyed evil from her, the woman that he healed from the enslavement and burden of sin, is the woman now who really recognized him. And recognized him with love. And she never forget what he has done for her. And she was faithful. God does not want us to be the super Catholic or to be the super person. He wants us to be faithful. Your husband is a good husband because he is faithful. Your wife is a good wife because she is faithful. In good times and in bad, they are there with us, especially those days that are very heavy. When do you need people to help you? Or to be people there with you? When they have the cross of life is a little heavy on the shoulder. And they were there, waiting for the apostles to come to the tomb, so they can roll the stone and prepare rightly the body of Jesus. Because when they took him from the cross, they wiped him, cleaned him a little bit, wrapped him in a shroud, and put him away because it was 4 in the afternoon. And that is the time of the Passover, the time that they cannot do nothing. And so now they come the following day to clean him very well, put spice on him, so the agent of death will not be part of them, and they give him a perfect or a proper burial. And while they were there, while they come there, they saw the big stone removed from the tomb. and an angel sit there. They went in the tomb and they saw the wrapping. They saw the wrapping of the burial, and the piece of cloth that we put around the face was put aside. And the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, because the Lord is not here. The Christ that you are looking for, the one who was crucified, is not here. He has been risen, as he told you." As they were going away, they encountered Jesus. And he said to them the same words, "Do not be afraid. Go tell my brothers. I will see them in Galilee. Do not be afraid, because I am going to your God and my God, to my Father and your Father." My dear people, I'd like to focus on that second reading today. That's so beautiful reading today. St. Paul is reminding us of our destination. And he said to us, we baptize, "Fix your eyes on Jesus." Fix your eyes on Jesus. He didn't say to us, "Fix your eyes on the Phillies," or "Fix your eyes on the Little League," or on the money that you are so concerned you're going to die of hunger, or on the stuff that you are losing. Maybe God permit to lose them so that He will show us. But remember, fix your eyes on Jesus. Where is Jesus? We say He is at the right hand of the Father, because He is the way to the Father. Without me, you cannot go to the Father. So He is the way to the Father. Fix your eyes on Jesus, because all of you who are baptized, you died. You are buried with Him. And that burial begins at the fountain of baptism. When you arrive at the baptism font, you die to your sin and you put on Christ. And now you don't live for nobody but for Him. If you want your destination to be where you want to be. If I want to go to Atlantic City, I don't hit north, because I hit Camden. Maybe I will never see Atlantic City forever. Our destination is heaven. That's the purpose of our existence. And that's why St. Paul said, "You are buried with Christ, and you are now rise with Him in that hope of the resurrection. And now I say to you, wait for Him till He comes in glory. Wait for the parousia. Wait for the day of the Lord when He comes. Not anymore to be born as a baby, but to be the judge of the living and the dead." That's the faith that we believe. Today, dear people, as we celebrate this great feast of the resurrection, we need to rethink seriously, what are we doing with our lives? Where are we going with our lives? What are we doing with our lives? Are we preparing for the day when the Lord calls us home? "Oh, Father, I am just a teenager. I am just beginning life. What's wrong with you? Talk about death to me." They were younger than you and older than you that went to Jesus before that time. Because the day and the hour when the Lord calls me home is not known to me. Yesterday, when I was preaching the 7 words, I said to them, when you were born, God gave you an envelope, sealed one. And you know what was in it? The date, the time of your death. You can go to the greatest professors and doctors in the world. When your time is up, Charlie, you must go. My Dear people, the purpose of our existence on the face of the earth is to know God. And the fathers of the church tell us where we know God, where we can come to know God. We know God from the creation He made. The creation is so beautiful. And He created for you and for me, especially for His Son. He created because He loves. From the cosmos I come to know God. The heavens are outside. In a very clear night, when you see all those things in the heaven, the beautiful star, the moon, and everything, and none of them fall. And none of them disappear. And none of them collapse. Because the one who created, He conserved them. I know God from Scripture, the Revelation, because God reveals Himself. And then I also know God from the people involved in the path of my life. My dear people, I say to you once and once again, I become priest not because I went to the seminary. I was going to say cemetery. There's no difference, really. You have to die to everything in life. You cannot do this, you cannot do this, but you don't go there. But the only thing is this, when I go to they test your faith. They test your faith to see if you believe. They throw in your face a lot of people who really were people who attacked the faith, attacked the truth of the faith. They challenge you to see where they can, find you in your weakness so that they can test if you really are called or not called as a priest. I learned my faith from my grandmother, from my mother, from my good pastor, that was his soul, from great professors in the seminary, and from the Jesuits for 16 years with them, and from many men and women whom I encountered from my parish and other people who really love Jesus, a very special call. There I loved and I found Jesus. Dear people, we are living in a world today that if I ask you, what is your destination? And you say, what do you talk about? Our destination is what St. Paul said, heaven. How I am going to arrive there? You are going to arrive there from the words of Jesus. Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers, my sisters, about the good news. That I am risen according to my promise. Many of us take it very lightly, this command of the Lord. Many of us have so much excuses when it comes to our faith. There is no excuses when the coach said that you have to be here 3 times a week. If you are a working mother, you make sure that you find somebody to take a ride, to give a ride to your son, do you not? And you are going to have a game. I don't think that you are going to sleep in. You will be in your shoes so early because you don't want to miss. I ask you, which is not good, but I am trying to do the best I can. What I am asking you is not good. But I am asking you to give God equal to the sports. Can you do that? Can you give God equal to your sports? Can you give God His due? Many people say we go to Mass on Easter and Sunday, on Christmas. Every time we come to that order, we celebrate Easter. Do you know that? Every time. Every time we come together, we celebrate the feast of Easter. Why? Because every time we come to the altar, we celebrate the dying and the rising of Jesus. That's why you said with me, Christ has died. Christ is risen. Christ will come again. Christ has died because we are still dying in our crosses that we accept from God and participate with Him in His passion. Christ is risen because you are the witness of that resurrection by the life that you live. Many people say, my son does not go to church. Do you? Or you go to church when it's convenient for you because you have nothing to do. Or because your mother and father is visiting you. Just to tell mother and father how good you are. Help me, Lord. My dear people, are we serious about our faith or not? My great headaches and heartaches is you people, the people of St. Louis. You are not serious about your faith. But if you are serious, you don't sit in the pew and do nothing. You go and evangelize. You say, I cannot bring my son to church. Then what good of a parent you are? If your son is not going to work, and he has a job, what you do? You threaten him. Either you go or you get out. Why? Because he's giving you some money and you cannot live without that money. Oh, that's a different story. My dear people, we need to be serious. Because the proclamation of the resurrection is our story. And if you want tomorrow to be bright, you need to invest in that brightness of tomorrow. Imagine me go to the bank and say to the teller, give me the interest of my money. Said, give me the number or a name. And they say, oh, I have to do that? Oh yeah, what's your name? You look at the computer, your name is not coming up. Are you serious that you have money with us? Oh no, but I want interest. And from the desk, she pushed a buzzer, and when I turn around, there are 2 policemen to take me away. If you don't invest, don't think tomorrow will be bright. If you don't plow, you don't harvest. You are going to get what you put into it. If you want to go and succeed to be a teacher, to be a professional person, you have to go to the grade school, grammar school, go to college, and sometimes even go and be an intern, and then you sit at the bar and get the license, whether it is New Jersey, Philadelphia, whatever state you are going to. You cannot and you will not be a doctor or be a professional without a piece of paper to identify what you have done and achieved. I would be crazy at the administration of a hospital that I am going to hire you as a doctor without your papers. My dear people, our faith is simple and like that too. We have to invest in Jesus Christ and we have to have a personal relationship with Him. And that is the problem in the church today. That the Jesus that we believe is the Jesus of the book. Is the Jesus of Sister Mary. Is Jesus of your mother. Have you accepted Jesus on a personal level? Have you in really relationship person to person with Jesus? Is He real in your life? Do you spend time to pray? Do you spend time to talk to Him? Do you ask Him to come to you, to help you with your decisions? Did you thank Him and be there for Him and with Him in time of hardship you are going through? Dear people, those days will come when the ball is going to bounce away. But many of young people today wants to be a pro. 1 out of 10,000 people become pro. What your son and daughter is going to do when he is 18, 19, when the ball ceases to exist? they're going to be frustrated because they have nothing to follow, because their life was surrounded around the ball. I know there is some coaches in this church, they're looking at me with big eyes. Will you stop talking about it? I talk to you coaches because you are the one who need to understand that Sunday morning is for Mass. And Tuesdays or Wednesday, whatever it says the day is the time that the children come to learn. You cannot expect the child to make a decision. He is too young to do so. What he is going to do when he is going to finish 18, 19 years of age? He has to find a God in his life. You never gave him your God, so he's going to make a God. He's going to begin drinking with his friends to alienate his frustration he had. Unfortunately, there are also substances that they think they want to alienate their problems. And sometimes he enters into a relationship with girls or boys that is not really what you want him to say. And then what are you going to do when he is lost or she is lost? Because they have nothing to follow. All of you are like me, I believe. When we are young, because mother said so, you do it. You become 15, 16, you begin to think that mother is old-fashioned. She lived in the 60s. This is 2000, mother. Come on, get with it. You don't understand. Everyone is doing so. Why I cannot do what my neighbor is doing? What a cruel mother you are. You are not allowing your child to have a good time. Mother is a wise woman who knows the good for her children. And if the child is 4, she does not give him a knife in his hands to put in his mouth. A father is a good father who knows that his son is too young to understand. And so he has to be there by his example, by his words, by his relationship, to help that young boy to understand tomorrow. My dear people, I challenge you, and I hope that you understand where I am coming from. I want a future for St. Reed. We just was born about a year ago. We are not making it. And this Tuesday, Camden is coming. The Vicar General is coming. And the office of the Department of Finance is coming to see if we are going to remain open or we are going to begin planning for another merger. And that is because we are not serious about our faith. If we are serious, we come together and work. I don't ask for nothing, just an hour a month. That's all I want from you. An hour of your time to your church. You know how much hour that means? Hours. I don't ask nothing of you. But when you are going to be tithing with your parish, be serious. Don't give me a tip. Give me at least the breakfast that you spend on Sunday. My dear people, we need to be stewards. Because Jesus made us do. Go and tell the good news. And to tell the good news needs to be people of action. People who mean well and love the Lord. People who understand that tomorrow is today. I challenge you, dear parents. I challenge you, young people. This is your church. Set out with tears in my eyes, I said, so I have no replacement after I go. Our young people are not seeking any more priesthood. And that is not because they are not called. Because you, parents, I as a priest, am not watering the seed that God has poured in them. Because we are not an example for them. We have done evil as priests. And God will have mercy on us in Judgment Day for the frustration and the hurt that we bring to many. Parents, you have laid aside your responsibility and gave away your privilege to be a parent by letting your child running your own life. Tomorrow, church depends on us. Your parents have done the job. Your parents has led you to church. There is not if or but when you are young. Sunday comes and you will be in church. There is no question about that. That's why the church was flourishing. In fact, bishops were building parishes like they are buying, Believe me today, we cannot even support what we have. Why? Because you young people has alienated yourself away from Jesus. I say to you one thing. Jesus is the essence, the source of your existence. Because you are created by God in His own image to love Him. To know Him, to love Him, to serve Him, and to be with Him forever in heaven. That's the idea of the Mass. We come to feast on His Word, feast on Himself in the real presence, and the priest says to us, go now in peace. Go bring that peace at your home. Go bring that peace at your work. Go bring that peace in your school. Go bring that peace in everywhere you are going to be. And you know what, something? You have to be different from the crowd. Because you are living with pagans out there. You are living with people who have nothing to offer but nothing. And you have to stick like a fish out of the water. You have to be single. People are going to look at you and make fun of you. They're going to insult you. They're going to mock you. They're going to laugh at you because you are a believer. At that moment, rejoice, because you are imitating the Christ who for you and for me was rejected, was laughed, was crucified. Because Jesus said to us, if you want to follow me, you have one choice. Take up the cross and follow my rules. If you want to be Christ-like, you have to be hated by the world. You have to be even abandoned by your friends. You have to be different in the world you live. You said, I don't want to do that. And make your choice. If you want your destination to be secure, you have to live the vows of baptism that your parents have done for you, and that confirmation as an adult you stand in front of the bishop or those who represent him and say, I do reject Satan. I do believe in God. And if you reject Satan, reject sin. And if you believe in God, you do things that please God. Did you get that? That is our faith. And today, I am going to ask you, and I am going to wake you up from your sleep very fast. Not only you profess your faith and challenge you to give a cheer to God like you give cheer to your team. Because if you don't, I have the water to wake you up. And now I ask you to